this is what he had me on to start. Then added GH and insulin. 750 test. So you guys want to see what Nick Trigili has been up to this time in terms of people up with his crazy ass cycles. Well, thankfully we had another one of his clients come forward and I have the story just for you. But before we get to that, we need to make a quick announcement. Once again, our Skool group is now free. There's a free 7-day trial. Go ahead, slip in there. We'll give you the quick rundown. Before I delve into these cycles, I have one big announcement for you guys to make. So hold tight, 1 second, we'll get to the reviews. But I wanted to let you know that if you're interested in learning why we rip these cycles apart, we now have our Skool group open. Now with the Ascendancy Collective, we offer everything you'd get from a one-on-one coaching program for $15. So head to the link down below in the bio if that interests you, because you're going to learn everything that I use and apply to my programs for my clients at an extremely unbeatable price. But not only that, we're going to have courses in there to help you level up and go from the weak little pleb that you are right now into being an alpha male like Wes Watson. Except we're not going to scam you like Wes Watson. We're here to let you grow. So go down below, click the link, get in that group. I'm on a live call every Sunday night. Come talk to me. Let's hear it. And back to our story at hand. Now, as you can see, I am truly an alpha male now. I'm wearing my chains. I got my bullet necklace out. It's actually a bottle opener too, which is fucking awesome. It's actually a shotgun tool I got in college. You can poke a hole in the can, or you can pop it open with this side and then use it like a shotgun. So amazing, totally necessary to be wearing on a bodybuilding video where we talk about drinking, right? Just kidding, I haven't drank in a long ass time. But back to what we're about to talk about, because it is probably more liver stress heavy than drinking is, if we're being honest. So chewed my good, I think it's supposed to rhyme, but he commented that Nick Trigili for a first cycle had him on 750 milligrams of test sip per week, 300 milligrams of NPP, 40 milligrams of D-bol, Ostarine and MK77 at 1 a.m. and 1 p.m, Aromacin 30 milligrams every other day, and then he had him on GH and insulin as it went on. That's crazy. Now, I made sure, confirmed with him, he said yes, it was actually with GH and insulin. I told him I couldn't afford it, so we ran this. I got loads of acne, and he told me it was part of the game. Part of the game is not mixing SARMs, one at 1 a.m. and one at p.m. I don't know how the hell you even dose that. Do you wake up in the middle of the night and take some fucking SARMs? What are you, like a fucking 14-year-old? Anyway, I don't even know where to begin on this one. So the test dose is very high for a first cycle, especially to start out with. NPP is definitely not a first cycle compound. 19 Nors are out of the equation, if we're being honest. D-bol to use as a Kickstarter is like... and split AM and PM too. That is like so like 1990s. But then again, Nick still lives in the fucking past, so that's not surprising. Aromacin being dosed every other day, that is totally up Nick's alley. I've seen that numerous times with him, so that does not surprise me that he's overdoing the AIs. Overall, this cycle is like a negative fucking 50.
And the Grammy goes to... LA stand up, Igor and Tyler, the creator. Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, man? You're introducing so many variables that you can't even fucking hash any of them out. Like, if this was an intermediate cycle and the test and MPP dose was there, I wouldn't be raising a huge eyebrow. But D-bol's unnecessary. Ostarine and MK together, you're just asking for water retention out the fucking dick. Plus, you're adding GH and insulin to it also. This is just a mess. This is a fucking mess. This belongs in the Hall of Fame. It's got its own plaque with Nick Trigili's bald ass head fucking plastered to it. All right, and then we got another absolute fucking catastrophe going on. This is gonna take me a minute to read because it might not even be that bad, but it is a mess. All right, so 600 tests, 400 EQ, 200 MPP, 50 milligrams of anadrol. Now that's okay. That's 1.2 grams with anadrol. 100 milligrams IGF-1 DES. I'm not sure. Is it LR3, I assume? Or is this something I've never heard of? Or is he abbreviating something? I'm not sure what he means. Because 100 milligrams sounds like it's overkill because usually you dose that in micrograms. 2,000 IUs of HCG pre-workout? What? All right, well, that's weird. And that's just asking to have your estrogen through the roof and your prolactin being a problem with MPP mixed in there. Okay, well, tell him it's starting. That's good. 10 milligrams Cialis, 75 milligrams aspirin, not really necessary usually, but I mean, whatever. You don't want to use that chronically, by the way. 500 milligrams BPC-T, 3.75 GHKCU. I don't even know what that's an abbreviation for. All right, there's too many monkey drugs in here. I doubt you need BPC and TB anyway, unless you actually have an injury. Like, people want to chronically stay on this to avoid injuries, but there's studies that show it could potentially cause cancer. So let's not just take random SARMs and peptides when they're not really indicated. And if you have that big of an injury, you probably should lower the doses, be in a holding phase, and not be pushing your doses up. And then 200 milligrams of modafinil. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of unnecessary stuff being ran here, especially judging by his physique. This would be something you would see at like a really high level if somebody had to leverage certain things to get a certain look, but I don't know. I just feel like it's too much. I'll leave this one up to you guys. I say I'm not a huge like use every peptide in the book kind of guy. I don't see the benefit of using half this stuff, but the telmisartan is good to be in there. Dosage wise, not horrible, but I think you're mixing a lot of stuff that can cause you to have side effect issues with water retention or potential E2 spikes. And I don't even know what GHKCU is, what that's abbreviated for. Like growth hormone, Kenny underpants. I don't fucking know what the hell that is. Hold on. All right, it stands for copper peptide, and it's found in urine, and it's used to control wrinkles.
Disgusting shit.
I'd rather not piss on my face to control wrinkles, but I mean, I can't really judge that because I don't even know what the scientific background is on that. Just use Botox. I don't know what that is. All right, so if we ignore all the random shit in there, because I don't even know what we're doing with it without more context, to be honest with you. I like the telmisartan and the Cialis doses. Those are solid. If you're injured, this is overkill. If you're healthy, this is okay. This is like a 7 out of 10 cycle. Top Gun 57, 800 tests, 400 EQ, 10 IUs GH, currently bulking. That's actually not bad. We got 1.2 grams, 10 IUs GH. I know this guy, yeah, no, he's fine. And he stayed fairly lean too, so I totally agree with that. You don't need an oral necessarily. If you want to run one, you can. But I'd say you got to give that one a 9 out of 10. So Anon asks, 1 gram of test, 600 primo, 40 micrograms of Clen, 25 T3. This has got to be a cut, but if you're on a cut, you don't need to run 1.6 grams unless this is pre-contest. I think it's a little overkill. Generally, when you're on like a cut, you can run a baseline of test, maybe 2-3 compounds, maybe 3 compounds that add up to about that, but I think running the test that high, unless you're trying to put on mass, doesn't make a whole ton of sense. And I don't think T3 is ever necessary unless you're stepping on stage, if we're being honest. If you can't get lean without T3, then you're doing something wrong, in my opinion. And I will stand on that fucking ground until the day I die. You can use SLUPP, you can use Retta, you can use any fucking GLP-1, you can use Clen, you can use ECA stack.
A few hours later.
You can use green tea extract, you can use caffeine, you can use albuterol, all those fat burners that aren't T3. Why?
Why?
So just for that one, I'm going to knock you off a little bit. Giving you a 6. Another Anon. 300 milligrams of test, microdosing 60 milligrams of Tren weekly. What's the goal here? If you're just like a TRT that makes sense, but I think his picture is a competitor picture. So why are we just running TRT with barely any Tren? Yeah, it's conservative, so I'll give you points for not overdosing, but at the same time, what progress are you trying to make here? Judging by his physique, he's already fairly experienced, so I don't know what you're getting out of this. If you're just in a maintenance phase, Tren is highly unnecessary. If you're trying to get super lean, I kind of understand that, but at that point, you might as well run the Tren at like 100, 150-ish. I don't see a whole lot of benefit from 60, honestly. I mean, I don't love it, but I don't hate it. So we're just going to give it like a 6. eConvert, 600 test, 400 EQ, 150 MPP, 8 IUs of GH. Appropriate GH. I mean, I think 10 IUs of GH is best, but 8 is just fine. Give me that one a 9. Pretty good, bro. Next, another Anon. 1.2 grams of test, 6 milligrams of Aromacin, 3 IUs, HGH, blood work in 6 weeks. Blood work's good, very high test, and nothing else essentially. So, I mean, That's solid. You don't need other compounds if you grow on test. So if he grows on it, great. We'll give it an 8. I don't see anything to really knock on it. I would just not dose the aromacin ahead of time. You know, make sure you're having symptoms before you just rail AIs for no reason. Another fucking Anon. All right, I'm removing the Anons because I feel like this is why I got so many this week, because I opened up that can of worms and now it's like we got to edit out every single fucking picture. Sorry, Haley, it's going to be exhausting for you this week. Better hope your spirit fingers work. 300 test E, 200 mast E. Solid. That's basically like a TRT plus. 9 out of 10. I don't know what your goals are, but I mean, I can't complain about that. Madi 4332223. Fuck you.
Fuck you!
Like, stop putting all those random numbers. 2 grams of test, 400 milligrams of trend. I mean, if you grow on him, that's not crazy bad. He's got no pictures and no context to go off of, so I can't be like, hey, you're small, you don't need to run that, or hey, he's big enough to justify 2 grams of test. He probably isn't, based off the no profile picture shit. That's usually the case, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong one time before. Out of the thousands of interactions I've had with fake profiles or no profile pictures, there's been one where they were actually big enough to run what they suggested. But yeah, solid. I'm gonna give it a 7 just because I don't have much context, but it could be just a very good cycle for him, what he responds well on. Train like the D. Test sip 600 milligrams. EQ 600 milligrams. MPP 300 milligrams. Superdrol 20 milligrams. Pre-workout 5 values of GH. Superdrol not my favorite, but if you're running it in a very short burst, okay, whatever. Like have fun with it for the whole 2 weeks and before your liver blows up and you feel like shit. Test sip EQ 1-2, yeah, around 2 grams of gear total. Nothing crazy high. He looks like a bodybuilder. Not a fan of Superdrol. I would take that money and just get more GH or run Anadrol or Anavar personally. But I mean, if you want to use it in a short burst for acute strength gains, that's fine too. Yeah, we'll give it a 7. Nick JM 24, 300 test. That's it from 150 slow climb. I mean, if you're being a pussy, like, okay, have fun being a pussy. If you're just doing TRT, that makes sense. If that's TRT and you're just like doing your first little toe dip into a higher dose, understand that. If that's your first cycle, you want to start lower just to be safe. Understand. If you've been on for a while and that's what you're doing, then you're just a pussy. But I'm going to assume he's like the TRT climbing up or a first cycle. And if that's the case, then it's like a 9. But if it's not, then it's like a fucking 2. So I don't know what you are, but you're something between there. D Salvadon 29 asks 400 testy per week, 12.5 aromacin per day, 500 IUs HCG. All right, dude. How many times do I have to say, don't pre-dose your AIs, let alone that much aromacin? You're taking aromacin 7 days a week on 400 tests, and you're adding HCG to the mix, which aromatizes also. You're just creating a concoction of fucking nothingness. If you are aromatized that heavily, lower your test dose. You do not need an AI 7 days a week. That's stupid. So just for that, even though the test dose is okay, and I'm not against HCG use, especially if you're trying to maintain fertility or you want to just like keep your balls active every once in a while. I tend to run it on cruises sometimes just to make sure they're not shut off for 5 years at a time. But I really don't like the AI use. I'm gonna give you a 4. Nick Bugatti. Oh, bro. He's one of the alpha males. By the way, if you want to be an alpha male, make sure you join our school down in the link down below. I know I talked about it earlier. I have my blood work review posted on my channel. It's one of my more recent videos. That is actually straight from our school. So if you want to see how I do my blood work reviews with my clients and like learn how to actually read your own blood work, then go ahead and join because it's free for 7 days. Like you might as well join. I'm on live calls every Sunday. Come say hi, ask me questions instead of sitting there beating your meat. But he hopped in his new Bugatti and wanted to take 750 test, 200 tren, 50 to 100 milligrams of Anadrol. Well, what you taking, bro? And 3 IUs of growth. That's solid. I don't mind that. I don't know like how big he is and all that, but I mean, the trend's not obnoxious, the test's not obnoxious, the Anadrol's right along where it should be. So I'll give you a 8 out of 10. I think that's good. Jesse Y Fit, 900 tests, 600 EQ, 200 tren, last 8 to 10 weeks of a bulk. Well, if it's the last 8 and you're just adding EQ, that's pointless. It won't even like settle in until like week 8 there. 200 tren, not bad. I mean, if you're gonna run it in bulk, I'd rather see it run low, just as like a baseline. 200 is probably the high end of what I run it in a bulk. If you're gonna do it, usually 100, 150 is just like a little bit of a way to hit that progesterone vector. That's fine because you're gonna be usually aromatizing a little more heavily during a bulk anyway, as your body fat starts to climb up a little bit and you're pushing your doses up with your test and other aromatizing anabolics up. So sometimes that causes an issue with the prolactin and those weird gyno-y symptoms you get on 19 Norse. Just something to consider. Some people can run trend obscenely high, but I don't always recommend it on a bulk. I'd say on a bulk, if you can avoid running it, especially if it affects your blood work or your mental state or your sleep at all, then I wouldn't even run it. But there's some weirdos like myself that can run trend all fucking day and it doesn't seem to bother their blood work or their health at all. It just makes them feel a little off. A bullshit? A little crazy, a little fucking insane. I'm just kidding. Actually, with me, it just makes me a little more pissy about the same stuff I'm already pissed about. I just say it out loud instead of like holding it in. Like if someone's being stupid or cuts you off in traffic, instead of being like, all right. Be like, all right, motherfucker. Like, you just say it out loud. That's it. 900, 600 to... It's not bad, but the way you worded it, if you were running the EQ the whole time, that's fine. If you're just adding it, that's retarded. So I said retarded. You might have to edit that one out. We'll give it a 7 just because I don't know the exact context. If you enjoy this content, just go ahead, drop a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell because I post 3 times a week. You don't want to miss this shit, man. This is what you're here for. And if you have cycle reviews, go over to my Instagram and be sure to leave one in my questions when I ask it. Usually every Wednesday or Thursday, I accumulate them and do these over the weekend. So that way we have a constant flow, and I'm starting to limit it around a little less than 20 minutes worth of these because there's a lot of them coming in now. So first come, first serve. You see it, go ahead, leave your cycle, and we'll get you situated.